We're here at Canterbury Cathedral in England with Canon Andrew Dodd. He's been showing us around the cathedral grounds, giving us a lot of insight into just the business of how cathedrals are run. But I have many more questions for him. One is just about moving online. Why do you think the broadcasts that Canterbury does are so popular around the world?
Well, I think using the reputation, if you like, of the cathedral has been a real asset for us, in terms of what we've been able to produce. What we had to do during lockdown was actually really kind of make it up as we went along, so to speak, but it really caught something about the public imagination, and what was delightful is about the global appeal that had, using Canterbury's status, if you like, within the World Communion, but also touching people in their own homes, in a pastoral way, was really important for us. So it was an opportunity that we were able to respond to, and it's been delightful the way it's been picked up.
There's something just very reassuring about being able to watch you like I did this morning on online when everything's going crazy, just to see a kind of hear a sane voice, someone who's reminding us of the constancy of God. It was a real blessing for us to be able to watch online.
Thank you, yeah.
One of the things that Canterbury is the most famous for is pilgrims. And I wonder if you can talk a little bit about your experience with pilgrims here in the 20th century. What sort of people are coming who are drawn as pilgrims, and what makes them different than pilgrims maybe in medieval times?
I think it's a really interesting question, because I'm not quite sure if there is much of a difference, actually. I think people in medieval times and today are motivated for all sorts of reasons to want to come here. We get a steady stream of people coming. In lockdown, obviously, there was fewer people, but actually, since people have been lockdown restrictions have been removed, people are really engaging with it. And I think the motivation for it is so diverse. There are people who want to give thanks and celebrating things. Often people are raising money for very practical causes that are very close to their heart. Cancer research, for example, issues to do with poor mental health. Some of the real, pandemics of our day, if you like, people want to kind of respond to in some way. And pilgrimage is a practical and tangible way that they can do that. Their motivation isn't necessarily a faith one, in terms of traditional organised religion. And I do ask people when they come here for a blessing, at the beginning or end of their pilgrimage, what they're motivated for. And they'll say they're trying to articulate something. But being here physically in the place, I think, is a way that expresses something that they themselves struggle to put into terms. So that's one of the gifts, again, of the building, is that we stand for something that people can't always articulate in themselves. And it's a delight to be able to respond, hopefully, in sensitive ways to that need that they're trying to express.
Yeah, and just being here, I do feel a certain connection to the people who've come here before me, and there is a sense of transcendence that that the building and the space and the history evokes in us, and it's a huge blessing to be able to be in a place like this.
Yeah.
Many of the things that have been happening have been so singular. We've been talking about the budgets, but I wonder if you can talk a little bit about what the cathedral here and what you've learned coming out of COVID. How are we different as a result of this experience that we've had on a global scale?
I think that what people are absolutely focused on now is something about value and meaning in their lives. A bit like the reason why people come for pilgrimage. And again, people coming here as well in terms of how they want to respond. We've just come into the end of a very big capital project here called Canterbury Journey, which has been mainly focused, I have to say, in terms of the building itself, repairing stonework and making the facilities better than they had been in the past. What people, I think, are wanting to engage with, though, is not so the building's important, but it's actually some of the meaning behind it, the projects that we might be doing that engage the wider community, some of the education programs that we're wanting to put on here. That's what people are searching for, something about meaning and value, rather than just the tourist experience of coming to a World Heritage site. And that for us has been, I think the pandemic has really sharpened people's imagination about what it is that they're looking for and what they're searching for.
Yeah, the Great Resignation, people leaving their work and changing their lives and retiring early. You're right. In many ways, it's a new perspective on putting value and meaning ahead of maybe things that we would have put otherwise.
Yeah, and I think traditionally, I think the church has sort of been quite passive, I think, in responding to some of that, because of course the church knows what it believes and what it means. But the reality is actually we're also being changed as much by those conversations that people are having as they are themselves. So I think it's a really sacred space, if you like, that we can engage with that. We don't have all the answers either as well, but what we are is engaged in a dialogue, with people trying to express something of what faith and meaning is in the world today, and that's exciting, I think.
It is. Well, I'm with Canon Andrew Dodd. Thank you very much for talking to us today. My name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.